Hello, this is Dr. Rebecca Wood, and I would like to welcome you to the Week 1 lecture about knowledge, education, and humanity, or how in the world did we get here? So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about and think about this week. And so we could theoretically in this class discuss all of the literature ever written in the entire history of the world. Obviously, that would take way more than 8 weeks. So instead, we are going to spend our time thinking about just some of the most important themes of literature, including the nature of knowledge and the process of education, how can we gain more knowledge and then maybe use it more effectively, religion and the conflict between good and evil, and the actual concepts of good and evil and who defines each of them, and the ideas of logic and/or beauty. And before we get into those things in earnest as we begin our class, I'd like to talk about navigating the class in Blackboard. And so hopefully some of you have taken classes already at SPS or at another school on Blackboard, so it's very important to get familiar with the software. And then as you are becoming familiar with the software, please read the entire syllabus for the class and read the course calendar, which lists the assignments and due dates for the term. A lot of us may want to print out the course calendar and actually just write on it and check things off as we complete them, and that could help us stay organized and get everything done in a timely manner. And each week we'll have a new weekly module in which there will be a weekly overview video and a text overview. And then please carefully read each week's agenda, which is based on our course calendar. It has a little bit more detail each week than the calendar, but there should not be any new assignments just made up during the class. Everything should be on the syllabus and the calendar already. And then watch and read everything in the lectures and resources folder. Check and double check each week's assignment folder in the weekly module to make sure that everything is completed. And then additional resources should be available each week, which are optional, but of course they're recommended. And if you have any questions, please post them on the discussion board or email me at rebecca.wood@slu.edu. And what will we be doing in our class? We'll have weekly lectures, videos, and web links, some of which will be from me and some of which will be from other sources. Open book quizzes on our reading material just about every week. So you'll want to keep up with the agenda and the course calendar to make sure that you complete any quizzes that are assigned. And there will be an open book final exam, and that will be a comprehensive exam based on everything that we have done during the term. And then lively discussions about the reading assignments on the discussion board, and I'm really looking forward to those. And there are 2 reflective journal assignments to share your thoughts with your classmates and with me. And there will be the 2 papers with documented material from possibly our textbook and other sources. So navigating the textbook, you want to get the book out and flip through the pages and see what's in there. Some of the most important parts are the timeline, which is beginning on page XXI, or in Roman numerals that means 21. It gives a brief timeline of all of human history. There's a pronunciation guide, which will help us pronounce the authors' names, hopefully. Information about reading literature and writing academic papers, so that could help you write your papers and make it an easier process. And then there's an index beginning on page 713 of this edition of the book, which is hopefully the one that you have, which can tell us where to find essays, poetry, passages, and author names in our book. And documenting information, yes, I did mention that we are going to have 2 papers with some documented research material. So please use MLA style for the papers in this class. If you have been using another style such as APA, you'll need to switch to MLA for the papers that we're writing. And where can you review detailed information about writing and documenting research material? I like the Purdue OWL. It's very helpful. And also if you have a handbook from a previous English class or a writing class, such as the Little Penguin Handbook, it can come in handy as well. So our reading assignments this week include On Liberal and Vocational Studies by the Roman philosopher and politician Lucius Seneca. And then his life was intertwined with two dangerous men, Emperor Caligula and Emperor Nero of Rome. And we're not going to go too deeply into their histories. They really were some terrible people with just almost unlimited power. So they were very scary. And Seneca came into dangerous conflict with both of them. And Seneca wrote that our whole universe is no more than a semblance of reality. So he was among the philosophers who think of possibly the world and how we perceive it as being different than it really is, that we kind of make the world with our perceptions. And then our next reading assignment is Knowledge is Its Own End by John Henry Newman. And this is one of the few pictures we can find of him. This was a portrait that was painted, so it's very interesting to look at. And if you'll notice, I've attributed our pictures and images to where I got them from. So I'm making sure that everyone knows that if it's not an image that I took as a picture myself, or it's not an image that is just literally clip art, that I have credited the images and where they came from. And so just that's a little aside there. So Newman was an Anglican minister and Oxford professor, and notice that I have a brackets here around who. So I have changed this a little bit. It doesn't change the meaning, but that's what the brackets mean. Converted to Roman Catholicism. And here's another MLA citation. This author who wrote the part here that I am quoting, the last name was Austin, and it's on page 31, and of course that is from our textbook. And Newman gave up his prestigious teaching position at Oxford University and his career as a minister to begin anew in a different religion. If you can just imagine as an adult converting religion, and it's not just that he converted religions, it's that his life was his religion and his job was his religion, and then he converted to a different religion in England, where at the time it was not really considered a good idea by most people to be Catholic. And instead of kind of giving up after having converted and losing so many things, he actually went on to help found a new university in Dublin, Ireland. So he changed his life, and he also went on to become even more successful. And as a man of strong convictions, he also had very strong convictions about what knowledge and education were and are. And you'll note as you read through the reading assignment written by him, and possibly all the reading assignments this week, that it is best to skim over the reading first to get a general idea of what they're about, and then to read it carefully and possibly even out loud to help understand it so that you know what's in there. And then our third reading assignment is Education for Profit, Education for Democracy by Dr. Martha Nussbaum. And so actually she is a living author, and so compared to our other authors who are unfortunately long gone, she is a living author and philosopher who writes about problems and solutions for the world we actually live in. So reading her writing assignment, or reading her essay kind of lets us think about how could we make the world a better place. And maybe we disagree with her, or maybe we agree with her, or a little of both, but her work gives us a chance to think about what we think of education. What do we need to learn, and why do we learn it? Is it important to talk about economic gain and growth, or are we maybe better off focusing on becoming informed and responsible citizens? And of course, she is quoted in our textbook as saying, the primary alternative to the growth-based model about making money as a result of education is known as the human development paradigm. And then here's another MLA citation, and we've got the ellipsis here to indicate that part of this quote was removed, and it should not change the meaning, but this took out some extra words so that the quote wasn't so long and it would fit better into my own ideas here. So that's how to document a quote that maybe gets a little long and you want to take out the middle part, but you still have the same meaning. And so this week, as we go forward, think about what the word education means to you. Here we are at an educational institution learning things at SPS. And what does that word education mean? Why are you here? Does the word education mean something different to you now than it did when you were younger? And possibly why? And then what are the things that we should all know? Should we all know about American history? Should we all know about philosophy? Should we all know how to paint beautiful works of art? What are the things that we should all know as we become more educated? Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments on the discussion board, and welcome again to our class. Thank you. Bye-bye.